Hey, Cancer. Mel, Intuitive Soul Coach here. Excited to bring in your December 2025 monthly reading. All right, let's open up your energy field and take a look at what the month ahead has in store for you. Bottom of the deck, you have letting go. All right, you are liberating yourself here from a person, place, thing, pattern, habit, or a belief that you have outgrown. Cancer, your key themes for the month include new life. You have rest and retreat, and you also have trust. So what I'm getting here is you are taking a look at the prior year, 2025, and you're looking at what has worked and what hasn't. You're re-examining here this month, and you're allowing your nervous system to hit that reset button. Many of you are being guided to find peace through solitude, by taking time off, spending time with the people that you care about, with the people that you love, focusing on activities and events that uplift you. And for some of you, you may be saying no to certain energies that you just don't want to participate in, right? You want to say no. You'd rather unwind at home, or perhaps you'd rather be by yourself, just getting that R&R, right? Some downtime. So whatever you are being called to do that helps you restore your own nervous system, trust that energy. Now, I am getting here a message around a new guide for some of you. It could be a guide, a mentor, or a teacher. Someone is showing up in your world. Yeah, and there's the Emperor here as well. So it could be a divine masculine, but it feels like this is someone that is here to help you step into this new role or this new world. I feel like you are ready, but there's still a bit of, I don't want to say hesitation. There may still be some loose ends that you are tying up as we step into 2026. Now, letting go is closure. Letting go is growth. You have outgrown a situation. Your soul has ascended, and you are going to see changes in your outer world, Cancer. We are in the 12th month, the final month of 2025, stepping into a brand new year, the year of the horse. It's also a 1 year in numerology, which is all about new beginnings. So you have experienced a lot of highs and lows throughout the prior year, a lot of life lessons you have learned. And now you get to integrate that wisdom. You have gained wisdom through hardship here, but this month it feels like it's that rewind in a way where you get to play back some of what's worked, some of what hasn't, including your own attachments, your own beliefs, your own patterns. And you're asking yourself, what's working for me? What do I need to release? And maybe that's why I'm getting that strong mentor or guide or teacher coming through that could be helping you release and let go in order for you to step into this new beginning, because new life is one of your key themes here. And many of you are undergoing this personal transformative period, but you're not alone. And this could, of course, be a spirit guide. It could be a loved one that's helping you out in spirit. It also could be your own guardian angel. So make sure you are spending time connecting with your higher power, whether that is through meditation, perhaps it's through exercise, sleep. It could even be through yoga or energy work, whatever you need to do to help you slow down a little bit and let that intuitive energy come through instead of the busyness of the patterned mind, the conditioned mind. Allow yourself to soften, all right? Soften into that inner voice this month, because you have a fresh start on the horizon, and this fresh start feels really, really good, even though there may be some fears around it, because you have the 9 of Swords here. When the 9 of Swords shows up, this is an energy of worst case scenario or even self-doubt, but it feels like this month you're confronting a situation head on, and it's bringing in clarity. It's bringing in release. It's bringing in the ability for you to be able to heal. And that's exactly where you want to be stepping into a new chapter of your life. And it just so happens to land at the end of the year. So new chapters can arise at any time throughout the year, Cancer. You don't have to wait for special circumstances. You don't have to wait for the new year to go after a goal. You don't have to wait because you are being guided to stay present. I am getting a 2 of Pentacles type of energy where not focusing so far into the future that you lose sight of what's right in front of you, but also not lingering too far into the past that you kind of lose your footing, lose your focus as well. Being here in the present is where it's at this month. You have rest and retreat. Taking that necessary time out. Again, some of you are focusing, I keep getting diet, exercise, and sleep. Diet, exercise, and sleep. So some of you may be focusing on these areas of your life, or at least incorporating some new patterns. And it can be baby steps. You don't have to go all or nothing. Oftentimes we find that New Year's resolutions fade, or they don't have the sticking ground because we set ourselves up in a way for failure by feeling like we have to tackle it all. And then if we don't, we're letting ourselves down, and then we're ridden with guilt and shame. And I see that you are using a new technique. It's like you are opening up to baby steps and saying, what small thing can I do today that's going to help me become a better version of myself down the road? So there's that balance. There's that 2 of Pentacles energy here where you are protecting your own peace. You're setting energetic boundaries, meaning if people are around you and they are draining your energy, or if they are lower vibrational frequencies of what you are wanting to uphold, it feels like you are creating a bit of space. You're basically saying, this is my dance space, this is yours, and you're not letting other people drain your energy, and you're not giving away your power. So rest and retreat is you honoring your soul, honoring your body. What does it need? What do I need today? So that's what's happening here for you, which is really a wonderful place to be, because the mind is always telling us we have to hustle, we have to do more, we have to move into the next achievement, we have to, we have to, which overstimulates us. It puts us in that fight or flight. It puts us in a state of hypervigilance. And you this month are saying, wait a second, why am I going along with that type of conditioning? Why am I letting worst case scenarios or the monkey mind get ahead of me, right? Or why is this causing me to self-doubt? Why is this causing me to become obsessive about a situation or even lose sleep over it? That's why you're confronting it. You're slowing down enough to confront it. And that's what we need to do sometimes. And you're not letting the fear control you. Remember the power of love, right? The power of love is so profound, not the love of power, the power of love, which is surrender, which is release, which is flow. And that's what you have here at the bottom of the deck, life lessons. And that may be a life lesson that you have learned through hardship. You have trust here. Now, I'm also getting this being another lesson for you, Cancer, trust. Some of you have been betrayed, or you went through a period of self-doubt, or feeling like you weren't sure what was coming in for you in the future. And there was a level of uncertainty, but you are someone who is very, very intuitive. You have this knowing about you. You can read a room. Many of you have prophetic dreams. You're able to pick up on cues and energy and signs and symbols, but yet the mind can overwhelm us at times, or the conditioning of the mind if it's limiting, right? And it can tell us stories that are not true. And then we waver, we go back and forth. Is this our intuition? Is this our conditioning? What is true? I'm confused. I don't know what to believe. So that's where trust comes in here. So when you slow down enough to allow that intuitive voice to come through, that's when you are receiving more clarity. That's when this guide or this teacher or this mentor energy that I'm picking up on is available, right? That's when you get to open the door. And I also see that some of you, your loyalty or your confidence may be tested. Now, I talk a lot about the 1212 portal, which is a very powerful portal. Unlike the 1111, which is more about manifestation, 1212 I like to think of as a spiritual graduation. So a culmination of everything that you've gone through in the prior year, kind of reaching its peak. But around that portal, we can certainly be tested. Not to kind of point a finger or to place blame or anything of that nature. That's not what it's about, but to really make sure that you are ready to release. And you are. You have letting go at the bottom of the deck, which is part of your soul growth, rubbing up against your nervous system, right? And our nervous system is hardwired for comfort, even though it's not always comfortable. It is hardwired based on our conditioning. And I see that you're trusting in this unknown chapter that you are about to step into. So very powerful themes playing out for you at this time. Moving into your tarot, you do have the 5 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So this is what you're wanting to release, right? You have letting go and you have 5 of Wands, which can be a competitive energy. Maybe this is competition in your career. Perhaps you are feeling competitiveness or adversity. There may be egos clashing in your home life or within family members, and you don't want to participate in this unnecessary drama, right? You're withdrawing from it, and you are being guided to listen, right? Listen to understand. So many people, when they are in conversation with another, they are listening and preparing how to respond without fully comprehending. True listening includes comprehension. And perhaps there is someone around you, or this could be something within your own self that you are acknowledging that has to do with listening to comprehend, to understand, instead of just applying some sort of feedback or giving unsolicited advice. So 5 of Wands here is about you facing it head on. And that's what I'm getting with that 9 of Swords. You're saying, wait a second, what's truly going on? Why are the egos clashing here? Because the 9 of Swords is, again, that monkey mind. It is going round and round here, losing sleep over a situation where once we confront it, which you see on the 5 of Wands, the 2 kites are confronting each other, but it's the inner child. So there may be a bit of an inner child wound that is resurfacing when it comes to your career, when it comes to your relationship, or even a pattern that you have around your health. Maybe it's overeating. Perhaps it's tobacco, nicotine. Maybe it's some form of avoidance, something that you are participating in that is part of escapism. Because as an early child here, you may have been conditioned to believe that you had to behave or you had to act or you had to show up in life in a certain way. And it just feels like you're being triggered. But now that you have this newfound wisdom, you are able to consciously recognize a pattern when it shows up for you. And that's going to make all the world of difference. Now, I'm also seeing the Empress. So you have the Empress and the Emperor. So this could also be a balance between the masculine and feminine energies. If you feel like your own masculine and feminine have been at war, right? They are a pair. They are connected through that divine love, the power of love. So there is this rebalancing coming through when it comes to these powerful counterparts, these energies. And we have here the 9 of Cups. Now, the 9 of Cups is a very interesting energy because it can be sweet satisfaction, right? It's feeling content, feeling good with your life. It's emotional and material wealth. It's wishes fulfilled. And I have a feeling you want that energy in your life. But right now I'm picking up on a sideways energy, meaning the 9 of Cups is an energy of Emptiness. It's emptiness or gratitude for what you have, focusing on what's right in front of you instead of longing or wanting something that is outside of your reach. Not that you cannot have goals, right? You absolutely can. Okay, thank you, Spirit. I'm hearing acceptance. Accepting perhaps the situation that you are in and saying, okay, instead of trying to change, shift, coerce, manipulate, or allow those energies to kind of steal your power, I feel like there's acceptance of how something is. And once you accept it, once you say, this is where I'm at, I don't have to fudge reality. I now know where I stand. And now I have clarity to make choices that are going to get me closer to emotional satisfaction. But first, there's this acceptance and then awareness, right? Or awareness and acceptance may kind of go hand in hand here, but you don't want to overdo it or bring in some sort of fantasy or delusion. You can have your cake. You can eat it too. I know that's a cliche. Most people say you can't have your cake and eat it too. But what I'm getting here is you can have what it is that you truly want, but it requires you to look at something right here, right in front of you and get honest with what this is and to confront some of the challenges that are blocking you from feeling this emotional fulfillment, this material fulfillment as well. Even though this is a cup, this is also connected to our wealth and all different levels. Next, you have the Emperor. Now, the Emperor showing up is a powerful force. Not only is this connected to that energy, maybe a personal guide of yours, but it could also be a boss. It could be a father figure. There may be energies around a father that are connected to or tied to this Five of Wands, or a masculine presence or energy in your life. Now, when the Emperor shows up, Spirit is guiding you that now is the time to take a little bit of downtime instead of having everything structured and routined and going by the book at every single moment. That can cause us to feel like we're losing out on the fun, on the joy, on the fulfillment. Now, there is time for order. There is time for organization. And I feel like you can do both here. You can have fun, right? You can allow this Nine of Cups to open up, but it first requires you to get raw and to get real. I'm getting raw and real. So divine order. It's through divine order, not conditioned order. Does that make sense? Right? Conditioned order, like this is how something has to be done. Think military, right? The bed has to be made a certain way, or I have to stand in a certain position, or I have to have my outfit a certain way. You know, that is more of that societal pressure. And maybe that's something you're fighting here between divine order and more of that external. And you have the ability to shift here into celebratory energies, because I'm seeing the Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups. So you're moving forward. You're so close to reaching this pivotal piece of your life. Keep going. Don't let those fears cause you to stay in analysis paralysis, or don't let the structure of something become so much that you lose sight of what's really important. All right, because what I'm getting here for you, Cancer, is enjoy the little things, because when you look back, you realize that they were the big things. So stay present. That's that Two of Pence energy that I keep picking up on. You have the Seven of Wands here as well. The Seven of Wands is connected with that Five of Wands. So it's like once we adapt to a situation, we tend to stay in it, even if it's difficult, because you can see that this Arctic fox, you know, he is moving through the harsh weather. And just because you have been in a harsh circumstance, perhaps a relationship or finances have been difficult, that doesn't mean you have to continue staying in that. You've learned what you've needed to learn, and now you get to step out with, again, that newfound wisdom that I keep speaking of here. You get to step into this Emperor type of energy where, yes, there's structure, but you can have fun with it. You can play with it a little bit. That's what Spirit is reminding you with that trust, because sometimes we feel like we have to have all the pieces put into place before we can make that next move. And that's where trust comes in here. It's giving me a little bit of that Fool energy, where the Fool is more playful and the Emperor is more routine, more structured. So finding a balance between play and perhaps work. But the Seven of Wands is also about you advocating for yourself. It is safeguarding your own ideas, because there may be that competitive energy here. Beware of envy, Cancer, because it does feel like people are envious of you, and there may be ego clashes, especially as you're trying to get up out of this challenge or this struggle, because you are wanting to move into a new chapter where other people around you, they are staying or choosing to stay within a comfort zone because that's where they have adapted. But your soul is ready for growth. And I've been saying this often, the nervous system is hardwired for comfort and the soul is hardwired for growth. And because you are someone who is highly intuitive, you are very spiritually advanced as well, Cancer. You know when you've outgrown a situation. You know when it's time to move forward, even if moving forward is the challenging thing to do, right? Or you feel like it's going to take a lot. You have what it takes. And I see that some of you have felt overwhelmed, or there may have even been some form of accusation thrown at you, or a state of hypervigilance where you're walking on eggshells. That's not the type of life that you want to live. And maybe someone around you, again, has adapted to behaving in a certain way. Maybe it's their diet and exercise and sleep that is also contributing to some of the ego clash, because I see that there is another energy here that has always felt, for some of you, it's always felt like it's been competitive. So maybe this is a sibling as well, or because of how you were brought up, maybe father. I also have the Empress, so mother. It means that you're always trying to fight to be seen, especially if you had a lot of siblings, or you were maybe the oldest and you had the responsibility on your shoulders, and it's difficult for you to soften into, say, that feminine. Now, you have some really beautiful energies coming through with new life. This is where you're headed. Keep pushing forward here, not pushing through resistance, but softening into compassion and allowing your nervous system to relax, because you're moving into more of that springtime energy here. And what I mean by that is a season of your life where, if you've been in the wintry months where you felt frozen emotionally, or if it feels like it's been, mentally confusing, right? A lot of ego or the mind adapting, if that has been a struggle, I see that you're moving into a new season. The springtime is awakening here within you, especially moving into 2026, and possibly by springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere. So March energy could be very big for you. But I do see here the Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups. Four of Wands is also connected to 1111. So pay attention. That could be a number or a synchronicity that keeps showing up for you. And I am getting a message here of animals and acupuncture. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Are some of you getting acupuncture? Or maybe that's something you're looking into. That just came up. But what I'm getting for you is signs and symbols, and paying attention to the messages that they are bringing in. So remember earlier we talked about listening to comprehend. So when we are open to messages, right, instead of just saying, okay, I see a butterfly, I want you to ask, or do a Google search and choose the meaning that resonates with you the most. Same goes for numbers, or if a fox runs across the road on your way to work, trust in these messages, because you are being filled with ideas and information and intuitive knowings that are helping you move into this next chapter. So listen to understand, listen with comprehension, and don't be afraid to do your research. Maybe that's connected to that Emperor as well, because you have something really beautiful manifesting. This is expansiveness. It is harmony and well-being. Many of you are healing some sort of family foundational energy that's been a bit difficult. Perhaps there's been contradictions, or there's been lack of stability in your life that has caused conflict with you or family members. And this energy is all about support. And it feels like you are going to be doing the happy dance when it comes to some sort of new invitation, new blessing, or new offer. Also, pay attention to your movements, because exercise is coming up for you. This could be aerobic. This could be like strength training. It could also be like ecstatic dance for some of you, or just wanting to move the body in whatever way the body is wanting to move. Now, here in the Northern Hemisphere, at least where I'm at, I'm in Wisconsin, it's cold. It is winter time, and it can be difficult to get outside. So if you can incorporate a structure either within your home, or even getting outside for 10, 15 minutes and walking, moving your body, this is going to be so beneficial for you, because that's going to create a sense of stability for your own nervous system. That's going to help you reset the nervous system. And because that energy is strong, again, diet. So paying attention, we tend to overindulge this time of year. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I eat one too many cookies or biscuits, or food, holiday food, right? So you don't want to overdo it so many times where you are making yourself sick, or, going to extremes. So just be mindful. And sleep, sometimes sleep can be disrupted because the holiday season can bring a lot of busyness. So just check in with yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy some of what life has to offer, right? But try not to overindulge time and time again, where you're not feeling good afterwards, right? You're feeling bloated, you're feeling full, you're feeling tired, you're feeling exhausted day in and day out. So just be mindful of overdoing it. Now, the 10 of Cups as your outcome energy here is beautiful. When the 10 of Cups shows up, not only are you moving into, from the 9 into the 10, that's part of what this next chapter of your life looks like. And even though this is a December reading, because we are closing out with letting go and you're entering into a new era, it feels like this is part of a little piece of 2026, what this is bringing about for you. 2026 has to do with an overflowing heart, Cancer. It's the ultimate blessing, family bonds, unconditional love, celebrations here, feeling more fulfillment, because that's what I see you've wanted, right? You are feeling that sense of emptiness, or, incorporating gratitude for what's right in front of you, and accepting that, okay, there's something in my life that I need to face that I haven't been facing. And now that I know, now that I have the tools, now that I have the resources, or being able to open yourself up, that's where that Emperor comes in, through a teacher, a guide, a mentor. It could be a guide that is kind of coaching you to take a class, or to sign up for that project, right? Or whatever it may be. I feel like you are being divinely guided through divine order here to level up in some area of your life that has felt dissatisfying. And once you do, once you listen and you comprehend, because oftentimes we can go to classes, we can read books, we can even be in conversation, and sometimes we come out of that class or we come out of that conversation and we're like, yes, this is great. I'm going to take everything I've learned. I'm going to implement it. And then how many times have you done nothing with it, or you haven't revisited revisited the subject matter or the topic or the conversation. So we can hear something, but what we do with it is a completely different story. And I see that not only are you listening, so pay attention to those ear chakras. Many of you, your ear chakras are highlighted this month. You may even have a little bit of ascension symptoms like ringing in the ears or tingling. So pay attention, get it checked out if you need to, but I am getting ear activation for you. But once you step into this magic, which is what it feels like, the 10 of Cups is celebration. It's work that brings you joy, family that feels supportive, whether it's blood related or chosen, right? It's an energy of gratitude. And that's where that 9 of Cups starts off, right? You start your reading with the 9 of Cups, kind of questioning, where's my happiness lie? Am I happy doing this 9 to 5? Am I happy in this controlled relationship or dynamic? Or am I happy, letting these fears overwhelm me to the point where I'm stuck or I feel like I'm living out Groundhog's Day over and over again? Because you know what you want. You know that you are worthy of great abundance and great love. And you also know that you don't want to settle for anything less than you deserve. So powerful energy coming through. Now you have the crown chakra coming through. This is the chakra that's highlighted and it's connected there with the ears up there in that region, right? This is all about grace. The grace of a higher power is with me and I move through life knowing this truth. Remember that trust is coming up here, which is about commitments, loyalty, assessments, honest assessments, as well as fidelity, what you pay homage to. What are you loyal to? Is what you're loyal to, Cancer, loyal to you in return? I believe in a higher power and I know that it is within and around me, offering assistance and guidance. I surrender all my fears and burdens to a higher power. I am open to receive grace and I trust in a higher power. I am worthy. I want that to be your mantra. I am worthy of a beautiful life. It's a wonderful life. Maybe some of you just watched that movie. I'm seeing Don't Shoot the Messenger. It's a black and white movie. I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life. Isn't that a Christmas movie? So if that is something you've just watched, or maybe it's a favorite of yours, that's what's coming through here. It's a Wonderful Life. And you absolutely have that ability. Maybe there's some sort of parallel. So because I haven't watched the movie, I'm not sure what that parallel could be, but maybe there's some sort of resonance or something in that movie that stands out that you are familiar with or that you may be going through. Now let's look at love. Let's look at family and the heart. You've been heartbroken before. Like I've said, you have gone through an experience where trust has been broken. You may have gone through a breakup. Chances are you have gone through something, right? We all go through heartache at one point or another. And the more mature we are, the more we age and evolve, the more experiences, that we've gone through. And a lot of you have felt lost when it comes to some sort of heartbreak. You have had to reawaken a part of yourself because it reminds me of the song, one of my favorites, Underneath Your Scars by Godsmack. And there's a verse that says, who am I without you? And you may have gone through a period where you've lost a loved one, maybe physically even, or emotionally. There's been a breakup and you had to find yourself again. You had to reawaken. What do I love? Who am I without being in this relationship? Who am I without being so-and-so's mother, wife, friend, sister, brother, dad, right? You may have had to re-examine what this new role meant for you. And I feel like there's a piece that it almost feels missing. And when you go through that experience, it brings in a lesson around resiliency. And sometimes resiliency can be very, very powerful, right? But it's important in what you do with that energy. I always say when we know better, we have the ability to do better, but also you have the ability to become better, right? Not bitter. And you may be taking a look at life, and instead of letting life's hard knocks keep you down on the ground like Humpty Dumpty, right? You are choosing to get back up again and put those pieces together. And there's a name for that in, I forget which country, where they take the broken pieces, the shattered pieces of glass, and they use gold glue to put them together. It has a certain name. I forget what it's called, but that's what I see happening for you. It's like you're putting yourself together with gold and glitter, and sometimes that piece is more magical and beautiful than the original. And so I want you to look at yourself like you would that piece. Look it up. If you remember, if you know what that's called, drop it in the comment section below so other people can look that up, because some of that artwork is so profound, and it's like your life is a piece of artwork. And even though there's been splatters, even though there has been highs and lows, you don't have to shut down the heart, and I don't see that you want to here either. You are opening up to one of the biggest, best, beautiful eras of your life with that 10 of Cups. Now, you have the Chaser here. There may be some fears around abandonment, codependencies, or maybe someone that was chasing love. And like I mentioned, maybe you were that child who was always chasing love or attention from a parent who was emotionally or physically absent or unavailable to give that to you. And as an adult, that has been something you have learned or reprogrammed your own mind instead of chasing love, right? What's the song? Looking for love in all the wrong places. Is that Urban Cowboy? But I feel like you are saying, wait a second, I don't need to chase love because I am love, and everything that I need is right here, right now. Going back to that 2 of Pentacles. I know I don't see the 2 of Pentacles here, but I am getting the heaviness of it, where it is about finding your center, staying present. Many of you have had to do it all, right? But you're cultivating better time management skills here. You are balancing your resources. You're weighing up pros and cons. And I see that when it comes to love, if something is one-sided, or when it comes to relationships, that may be worth reevaluating, because you may be draining your energy by continuing to stay attached to a pattern or a belief or even a relationship that you've outgrown in some way. And you have healthy choices. And this is where many of you are at, okay? Healthy choices, self-love. You're choosing self. And that's not abandonment. There may be a belief that if I choose myself, it may require other people to be disappointed, or other people are going to point fingers because you've been doing something the same way. Maybe you've been people pleasing, or you've been taking care of another so immensely that you forgot about your own needs. And now you're choosing you, and that's not selfish. That is a form of self-care, because you deserve to be a happier version of you. You deserve to love and live your life, right? Live, laugh, love. Cancer, healthy choices when it comes to relationships, when it comes to the people that you spend your time with, your friends, and how you interact, even with your spouse, or if you have one, or your children, if they're still in your home, even your adult children. You can choose to listen, to understand, instead of letting critiques or judgments or, yes, those criticisms get in the way of solid bonds and emotional connections. You're choosing to raise your vibration instead of letting a battle of the egos bring everybody down. All right. So powerful place to be. Lastly, let's look at career before we move into your archetype. Now, how interesting. You have healthy choices in love, and you have health showing up here in career. So like I said, you are making changes in all areas of your life. And again, I'm getting acupuncture, maybe even massage. I mean, you could be participating in health practices, but many of you are healthcare providers, or perhaps you're into alternative health. Maybe that's where that emperor, that guide, that teacher or mentor is leading you, is to learn about yourself. And it could even be a book that shows up. Maybe you are Maybe you're at a thrift store and you're in the book section and the book that is meant for you, appears because Spirit wants you to learn. Spirit wants you to open the pages. Spirit wants you to, soak up the information and live and lead with what you are learning, and not just to pick it up and read it and then do nothing with it, right? But to soak it up. And that's what I feel when it comes to your life. Like, you want to soak up life. You don't want to be, a bystander in your own life. You don't want to be benched when everybody else is playing the game, because you've been practicing. You've been in training. It's your time to get out there and bat, Cancer. So when it comes to health in your career or your finances, some situations that need resolution will be resolved and healed. Consider careers in the medical field, massage therapy or healing work. Beautiful. And it's time to replenish your energy and fully energize to prepare for what's next. Bingo, right? It is time to replenish your energy. That's why you have rest and retreat. Find some downtime. Take a time out. Get your healing practice on, whether that is yoga, movement, exercise, eating, some sort of wellness practice or routine, or maybe you are catching up on some Netflix shows or catching up on that book and doing some reading. Whatever you are guided to do that helps you reset your nervous system. I love to take baths. I love water. So I put a bunch of bath salts in there and essential oils, and I just sit in there and listen to some drumming and listen to some beautiful beats and sometimes a podcast or two. But for the most part, I really love to just sink in to the tub and let my nervous system relax. So whatever you enjoy doing, allow yourself to replenish, to prepare you for what's next, because what's next is the fool's journey, right? You have something new coming in, a new invitation, a new connection, a new way of living, a new way of being through your thoughts, through your actions. And that is going to change everything in your outer world. You have the peacemaker here. You are being called to apply diplomacy and tact towards a difficult situation. Some of you may be in the legal field, or perhaps legalities are a part of some sort of financial struggle that you've been in. Maybe it has to do with children for some of you, child support, child custody battles, but this could also be like human resources, or you may be a lawyer. Maybe there's politics, office politics that are going on, and you just want no part of it because there's a lot of segregation or a lot of division, and you're like, wait a second, why can't there just be peace? Why can't we just get along instead of it feeling like it's constant war, constant push and pull? Consider politics, negotiations, union contracts, or peacemaking careers, or applying diplomacy to those topics, to those situations, Cancer. Approach situations with a win-win attitude when making business deals. So when I'm getting win-win, I'm getting higher frequency. I am looking at something from all angles, right? Maybe that emperor angle where divine order. So looking at it through the lens of structure, perhaps, but also bringing that feminine energy in, the balance of the feminine and masculine. Instead of letting fear make these choices and decisions for you, you have the ability to really step into your power. You have a voice. You are creative. This is your time to express what it is that you need. Work with the universe. Take a step towards what it is that you want, and you're going to see that then the next step appears. So often we are looking at the whole stairway and we get overwhelmed. And then fear creeps in. Like, do I have what it takes to walk all those stairs? What if the stairs disappear? Then it gives us time to kind of breed more fear, where if you are focused on just one step at a time, one day at a time, That's that Two of Pentacles, right? Creating that sense of balance within. That's going to help you out. And it doesn't mean don't prepare, don't train, don't organize. Now, I'm not saying that at all, but stay more in the now instead of outside of the now, because that's where the true gift lies, right? So I see peace coming in, or at least you moving towards it by letting go of whatever it is, whatever that Five of Wands is for you, something that does feel heavy, competitive, egoic, or adverse, right? Conflicting anyway, and you have more peace coming in and a windfall. So if you have been at war with someone around money, around career, around finances, you actually are showing up in a very favorable position. You're about to receive a windfall of money, maybe even a pay raise. And that could be connected to this big boss energy as well. Money is currently moving into a positive cycle, and you may be treating yourself, making a bigger purchase here. Now, not overdoing it. Now, sometimes again, Nine of Cups can be indulgence, and holiday season can be very taxing, very stressful for many, especially when it comes to gift giving, things of that nature. So be mindful, because the best gift is presence, right? Is being present and spending time, quality time with family, with loved ones is the best possible. Now, of course, presents are an added bonus if possible, but it's not everything. It's not the main thing. And you realize this, and I feel like you're also embodying this as well. And I do see that if there is a little bit of money coming in, potentially a bonus, or it could be connected to a promotion, or it could be connected to a financial judgment or a win, maybe through the court system, or it's just feeling like, okay, I am going to be a little more generous. So opening yourself up to generosity is going to bring more of it. So giving when you're able to give, those little bells, the Christmas bells, Salvation Army, that's something that I love to give to every time I walk by in the stores, and I love to help out when I can, because that spreads more abundance, spreads more love. So if you are able to, it doesn't have to be monetary, it doesn't have to be money, it can be your time. So knowing that if you can help out, even holding the door for someone, or carrying their bag of groceries, or paying for someone ahead of you in line, whatever it may be, spread that gratitude, spread that love, because that invites more of it into your world, Cancer. You already know this though. So lastly, your archetype is the sword. So because we have the Nine of Swords, that's the only sword, but it's all 9 of them, right? 9s are completions. So let's dive in and take a look at what this archetype means for you. All right, Cancer, the sword is the knife, the blade, the weapon. To use the sword is to decide. The blade separates one reality from another. The choice is made and all else falls away. If you find the sword in your grasp, you can no longer hesitate. This weapon requires a clear and decisive mind and a willingness to act. An onlooker may think the sword bearer is hasty and violent, but the most compassionate and responsible gesture is one that is honest, swift, and accurate. Our first encounter with the sword is at birth, when the cord we share with the mother is cut. This moment defines our separation from her and begins our journey of becoming ourself. We must make those cuts again and again if we are to grow. Decisions shape our life, and the sword is an infamous shaper of destiny. Contemplate the Buddhist philosophy of the first and second arrow. Swing the sword once with precision and commitment. More than that will be painful for everyone involved. So this means don't let something linger, because that's where that 9 of Swords gets real loud, right? When we go back and forth. So for example, if this has to do with a family member and you keep going back and forth here in some way with that 5 of Wands, this ego clash, right? And it's like cutting something with a dull knife. It just rips through it. So what the message is saying is sharpen that knife, right? Sharpen that knife. So if there is a cut that is being placed in your hands at this time, right? It can be clean, it can be swift, it can do less harm than if we were to use that serrated, jagged, dull blade. And lastly, it says boundary making, prioritization, and clarifying are all gestures made possible by the sword. The sword is a metaphor for the pen and the brush, the artist's fierce and graceful tools. And we literally talked about you being the artist earlier in your reading. So remember, the pen and the brush, those are your tools at this time. If you want to go further into this energy, check out Marina Abramovic's Rhythm series. I'm not sure if that is a show or if it's a podcast. But when this is showing up as the light, it's cutting through to what is essential. And when it's showing up as the dark aspect, sometimes with this 9 of Swords, it can be hasty, it can be backstabbing, it can be a dull and painful blade. So cut through to what is essential. That is what is going to be your biggest flex this month, because there's definitely something being cut away, letting go, closure, growth, ascension, goodbyes, and liberation in order for you to fully step into this new beginning. Cancer, that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your time. If you enjoyed the reading, please give it a thumbs up. It certainly helps the channel and the algorithm, and it helps get to those that need it most. If you are interested in a personal reading or signing up for the monthly newsletter, you can find all of that information in the description box below or by visiting intuitivesoulcoach.com.